It's been nearly 2.5 years since I've driven the Z, and I miss it a lot. But I've been a little distracted with buying a house, prepping my land, pouring a concrete pad, prepping the land again, building my dream garage, and then getting electricity to and lighting the garage. Now that the dust has settled, it's time to get the Z fixed and back on the road. Alright, so my goal for today is to try to get the transmission out of this car with the help of this guy. So the current problem with the car is the clutch. This clutch is supposed to be rated for 1,000 horsepower, but it has 2 tiny hubs on the individual twin discs. And I think that's a huge design flaw because I keep shearing off the teeth on the inside of the discs. So I'm about to pull out the transmission and try to find a better solution. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this time around, I'm gonna try not even using the engine hoist, just unbolting the subframe and lowering it down with the transmission jack. First thing we need to do is get the exhaust out of here. See how close I am with the 13mm? It might be 14. 15, wow. Really, I'm about to just edit this and make it look like I had the perfect guess the first time. 15, wow, first try. This beautiful stainless exhaust here is now out. Got one more little piece that I need to take out, and then I can work on detaching the drive shaft. Next, I've got to take this off, and I've got a little wobble for that. So got the drive shaft bolts out, and now I've got to take out these 4 bolts. There's 2 down there, 2 over here, and then I'll be able to lower the subframe down, unbolt the transmission bracket, take the drive shaft out as we lower the transmission down, unbolt the transmission from the engine, and then use the transmission jack here to slowly lower it down. This is what you call a cheater bar. It makes it so that you can cheat in a good way. Transmission jack. Now, I have to carefully lower the transmission down because the drive shaft needs to stay connected to the transmission because there's a fluid that'll leak out of here, manual transmission fluid that will leak out of here if I let the drive shaft come disconnected. So we're trying to keep that pushed together because it'll just slide right out. So I just got these 2 bottom bolts out. I've got more bolts up there. Gotta get those out next. But really quick, I'm about to take the starter power wire off, the speedometer and reverse sensor cables, and the clutch slave cylinder. Then we'll get those final bolts out for the transmission and drop it down out of there. All right. Alright, so with the transmission out and down back here, we can see the clutch. This is what I'm about to take out next. So this is bolted to the flywheel right here. So I'm going to take each of these bolts out. Success. Alright, so here you can see the entirety of the issue of why the car is not able to drive. These are supposed to be teeth right here that interface with the input shaft on the transmission with teeth. But the problem is, this engine is so powerful and moves so fast that you do some burnouts, it'll just rip all the teeth off. And you can see sort of a little bit of lines where there were teeth, but no longer are there teeth. So I sort of have two options, two things that I'm thinking of here. One is I come up with a new, stronger hub in the middle here that has more surface area of teeth making contact with the input shaft on the transmission. Or I just buy 2 more of these discs and then drive the car very gently until later when I upgrade the transmission. This is where we brainstorm. Okay, so I actually just got off the phone with Clutch Masters. First, I called LOJ, the company that makes all these LS swap parts for 300ZX. They told me to reach out directly to Clutch Masters, who makes the clutch. I reached out to them, and turns out they actually make a twin disc setup that has a much larger hub, so there's more surface area contacting the input shaft, and then the one disc bolts onto the other disc, so you have way more surface area contacting the input shaft of the transmission, and it's less likely to just shear the teeth off of the inside of the clutch. So I just ordered that, and he said that it'll probably ship out tomorrow and then be here by Monday. So maybe next weekend I can put it in and we'll be driving the Z. I am so excited. I can't believe they make that, and I don't know why they wouldn't just make that a part of this clutch to begin with. Why would anyone want the 2 individual discs that have a thin hub that are likely to get sheared off if you're making any decent amount of power? Kind of crazy to me, but we got the new discs on the way. I'm so excited. I can't believe they make that. That's what I was about to try to engineer myself, but they make it. So it's on the way. I'm so hyped. But that's gonna do it for this video. I will see you guys next week, maybe putting a new clutch into this car. Thanks for watching.